Hi, I'm Stan Zaucha. I'm one of the teachers in the Discovery Hour. This coming module, which will begin on April 6th, we're going to be taking a look at the inspiration, translation, and history of the English Bible. The Bible is one of the most revered books of all time, but it's also one of the most criticized books of all time at the same time. There are a lot of people who criticize the Bible for a lot of different reasons. We're going to take a look at some of those criticisms, but we're also going to take a look at why God has brought us His Word. We're going to do it in 6 sessions. We're going to start on April 6th by looking at a brief introduction. The introduction will include some translation stats, which means how far has the Bible been across the world. We're also going to be looking at the importance of the Bible and really what the Bible is. The next session will be on the 14th, or on the 13th rather. We're going to be looking at the divine inspiration of the Bible. We'll be looking at 6 indicators that tell us that the Bible is in fact divinely inspired by God and why the Bible is true. On the 27th, we're going to skip over Easter and go on to the 27th. We're going to be looking at manuscripts. What are manuscripts? And we're going to be looking at why the manuscripts are so important to the translation of the Bible and to the history of the Bible itself. But the manuscripts are also one of the areas in which criticism comes the most. So we're going to be looking at 4 particular errors that you find in the manuscripts and why those errors are not as important as people think they are. In fact, when you look at the errors from manuscript to manuscript, you're going to find that 99% of the manuscripts agree with each other. So we'll be looking at those variant reasons, and we'll be looking at why those manuscripts are so important to us. We'll be looking next on translation, why translation happens, the process that occurs, and why manuscripts and the inspiration of the Bible is so important. And we'll be looking at also the infallibility and inaccuracy or inerrancy of the Bible and why that is so important to us as well. We're looking at what we mean by infallibility and the inerrancy of the Bible. We'll be looking at also cultural context of the Bible. We'll be looking at the divine inspiration, reliability of the manuscripts, and also we'll be looking at the canon of scriptures and how the canon of the scriptures came about. And finally, we're going to, in the last session, be looking at the history of the English Bible. We'll be looking at how the Bible was first translated into English back around 700 AD, and that first translation really were the Psalms. But then we'll be looking at people such as Wycliffe, Tyndale, Erasmus, Huss, Gutenberg, and how those people actually really gave their lives to bring us the English Bible today. We'll be talking about why the English Bible has so many different translations now, whether it's word for word or whether it's thought for thought, and we'll be describing why each of those are very important to us. So when we look at those kinds of things, we find that the Bible is really an important asset to the believer. And I want us at the end of this session to come to the realization that the Bible is something that we should treasure and really hang on to. As we go through each of these sessions, we'll have a set of notes that will be published out on the church website. It'll be easy to get at. You go down to the ministry section, then go to Discovery Hour, and under this particular class, those notes will be there. And if you accumulate all 6 sets of notes, you'll end up with about 65 pages of text material, graphs, and illustrations that will help you understand. So we're actually reaching out beyond just the 4 walls of the classroom with the information. Again, we want to make sure that the Bible is relevant, that the Bible is something that really means something to us. And I think when we reach the end of the sessions, we hopefully will have a feeling and can echo the words that John Wesley had. And he basically said simply this: I want to know one thing, the way to heaven, how to land safe on the happy shore. God himself has condescended to teach one the way. He hath written it down in a book. Oh, give me that book. At any price, give me the book of God. I have it. Here is knowledge enough for me. Let me be a man of one book. So hopefully at the end of our sessions, we'll have the same sentiment that John Wesley had. We'll see you in class. Thank you.